In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on April 26, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Cleveland Cavaliers versus Miami Heat. The NBA playoffs keep moving, and this time the action shifts south. The Cleveland Cavaliers, holding the top seed, are heading to Miami to take on the 8th-seeded Heat in Game 3 of their 7-game series on Saturday afternoon. After 2 games at home, the Cavs are looking to keep their strong start going now that the series changes scenery. In the first game Sunday night, Cleveland made it look easy with a 121-100 win, comfortably covering the spread as 12.5-point favorites. They followed that up with another home victory on Wednesday, 121-112, though Miami managed to cover this time as 12-point underdogs. Historically, Miami has had the upper hand in the regular season matchups, leading the all-time series 80-53. Still, the Cavaliers have taken 2 of the 3 meetings this season, including a 112-107 win back on March 5th. Interestingly, this is the first playoff series between the two, and Cleveland is off to a strong 2-0 lead in that department. There's a bit of uncertainty hanging over the Cavaliers going into Game 3, as Darius Garland is questionable due to a sprained left toe. On the other side, Miami is still dealing with injuries too, having already ruled out Kevin Love, Terry Rozier, and Isaiah Stevens. If Garland can't suit up, it would definitely be a blow for Cleveland. Still, they've shown they've got the depth to keep things steady even without him. Miami has some hope to cling to after nearly erasing a 19-point deficit in Game 2. That kind of grit can inspire confidence, but it's hard to see them doing much more than that. Cleveland has been in control through both games, winning by at least 9 each time. They look dialed in and should be in a good spot to keep that rhythm going on the road. Miami hasn't been great at home this season, ending the regular year with a 19-22 record in their own building. The Cavs, on the other hand, have been excellent on the road, boasting a 30-11 mark and a plus 7-point differential away from home, which ranks 3rd in the league. Defense has been a big reason why, and having Evan Mobley, this year's Defensive Player of the Year, gives them a major edge in shutting down Miami again. Another big concern for the Heat is their inability to stop the Cavs' offense. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland have been picking on Tyler Herro, and the results have been brutal. Cleveland currently leads all playoff teams in offensive rating, and they've been lights out from deep, shooting 45.5% on 3-pointers. That's making it tough for Bam Adebayo and Kelly Ware to have much of an impact at the rim. With everything clicking, heading into a road game doesn't seem like much of a challenge for Cleveland. Even though Miami was a solid defensive team during the regular season, they just haven't been able to slow Cleveland down so far in this series, and that's a huge problem. Offensively, Miami has actually been solid themselves. They're tied with Indiana for the highest field goal percentage in the postseason, and they're 3rd in made threes per game. The issue is, Cleveland's just better. They're tied for the top spot in playoff scoring, 1st in both threes per game and 3-point accuracy, and 3rd in overall field goal percentage. Playing at home hasn't really helped the Heat either. Their 19-22 record at home doesn't stack up to Cleveland's strong road showing. Miami just doesn't have the defensive answer, especially on the perimeter, and that could leave them down 3-0 in this series. As our first pick for this matchup, the Cleveland Cavaliers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. You'd think the odds makers would catch on by now. This series isn't about defense. Offense is driving the action. Cleveland's leading the entire league in playoff offensive rating at 133, and Miami isn't far behind at 116.5. When it comes to effective field goal percentage, these two teams are at the top as well. The Cavs are hitting at a 61.2% clip, while the Heat follow closely at 59.3%. The over has hit in both games so far, thanks mostly to Cleveland lighting it up. Game 1 saw 2 221 total points, going over the 216-point line. Game 2 was even higher, with both teams combining for 233 points, easily clearing the 213-point total that had already dipped from the opener. Even though neither team plays at a breakneck speed, they're shooting well enough, especially from 3, to push games over the total. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Oklahoma City Thunder versus Memphis Grizzlies. Oklahoma City, holding a 68-14 record, is looking to complete a clean sweep on Saturday afternoon when they travel to FedEx Forum to face Memphis, who sit at 48-34. It's Game 4 of their first-round matchup in the Western Conference, and so far, the Thunder have owned the series. They just pulled off a 114-108 win over the Grizzlies, easily covering the 9.5-point spread. They've now beaten Memphis in 10 straight games, with a 3-0 lead. Oklahoma City is right on the edge of moving on. The Thunder are still without Ousmane Dieng, and things aren't looking much better for Memphis. Luke Kennard is still being monitored, and Ja Morant is officially listed as doubtful. The Grizzlies did everything they could to shift the tide in Game 3, but ended up blowing a massive 29-point lead. On top of that, Morant got hurt, which only made things worse. Even though Oklahoma City had a brutal first quarter in that game, they still managed to claw back and win. That kind of resilience makes it tough to believe this series will go on much longer. It's another big spread for a playoff matchup, but with how things have played out, it's understandable. Memphis got smoked in Games 1 and 2, then somehow managed to collapse despite leading by nearly 30 in Game 3. Morant probably isn't suiting up, and Kennard might be out too. It's just been one thing after another for this team. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. When it rains, it pours. Oklahoma City is now 57-25-4 against the spread this season, the best mark in the league. They've been crushing it when expected to win big, covering in 8 straight games as double-digit favorites and in 10 of their last 11 in that same spot. That kind of consistency against the number is hard to ignore. This series feels all but finished. With Morant unlikely to be available due to a hip issue, the Grizzlies are running out of options. The Thunder are shooting well lately, hitting better than 46% from the floor over their last 3 games. Memphis, by contrast, has made just 40% of their shots in that same span. Oklahoma City's also been sharp at the free throw line, knocking down 80% of their attempts, and they're attacking the glass, pulling in over 10 offensive rebounds a game. They take care of the ball, they don't give up cheap points, and they just look more in sync. Memphis, on the other hand, has struggled defensively, surrendering more than 120 points per game over the last 3 contests. That's not a good sign heading into an elimination game. Memphis at least kept things tight in Game 3, losing by just 6 as 9.5-point underdogs, which was a big step forward after losing the first 2 games by an average of 35 points. But now they'll have to try and extend the series without their best player. The fact that they were getting demolished even with Morant in the lineup just makes his absence that much more devastating. Oklahoma City has outplayed them in just about every phase of the game so far. Their comeback win on the road in Game 3 was just the latest proof that this team is for real. At this point, picking against the Thunder doesn't make a lot of sense. They're 10-0 straight up and 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 meetings with Memphis. As our first pick for this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Every game in this series has hit the under so far, and it's easy to see why. The 2 teams are averaging just 217 points combined. Thursday's 222-point total might be the highest we'll see. Memphis is in a do-or-die spot, but they're missing their go-to scorer, and they don't have a deep enough bench to replace his production. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City's offense has found its rhythm. Don't expect them to explode for 131 points like they did in the opener, but a total in the 114 to 118 range feels realistic based on their last 2 games. The under has hit in 8 of the last 10 matchups between these teams, and with Morant sidelined, it's probably the smart lean again. The Thunder have stayed under the total in 4 straight, while Memphis has done the same in 3 in a row. Oklahoma City is averaging 120.5 points per game and plays fast. They're 6th in pace with 100 possessions per game. But Memphis, even faster at 103.2 possessions per game, has been allowing 121 points per game over their last 3. On the flip side, the Thunder have held opponents to under 96 points during that same stretch. Without Morant to push the pace, expect things to slow down. That trend of low-scoring games between these two should continue. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Denver Nuggets versus Los Angeles Clippers. The NBA's first-round Western Conference battle between the number 4 seed Denver Nuggets and the number 5 seed Los Angeles Clippers rolls into Saturday with plenty on the line. The Clippers hold a 2-1 lead in the series after 3 games, and interestingly enough, the teams split their regular season matchups evenly at 2 apiece. This next game is shaping up to be a key turning point. Denver's hoping for good news on Russell Westbrook and Michael Porter Jr., both of whom are listed as questionable heading into the weekend. Meanwhile, the Clippers are heading in fully loaded, with no injury concerns. After a rough showing on defense in Game 3, all eyes are on the Nuggets to regroup and show some pride. They've got their backs against the wall here. Game 3 was the first playoff game ever played at the brand new Intuit Dome, and it didn't disappoint if you were rooting for Los Angeles. The Clippers absolutely ran away with it, crushing Denver 117-83. One of the wildest stretches came in the second quarter when Los Angeles strung together a 20-plus point run, while Denver could only manage a single bucket in that same span. The crowd was electric, and the energy clearly spilled onto the floor. Now that the Clippers had the series lead, they look confident, composed, and hungry for more. This series is turning out to be one of the most fun to watch so far. Game 1 was a tough loss for the Clippers. They were in control most of the way but couldn't close it out in the fourth quarter. Since then, they've flipped the script. Kawhi Leonard has been a machine, dropping 39 in Game 2 and following it up with another smooth, efficient night in Game 3. James Harden and Norman Powell both chipped in over 20 points apiece as well, showing just how deep and balanced this squad really is. The Nuggets, on the other hand, are looking a bit off. Nikola Jokic is doing his part, almost getting a triple-double in Game 1 and actually hitting that mark in Game 2, but the team just doesn't look right. The absence of head coach Michael Malone is being felt, especially when the Nuggets have to adjust in the middle of a game. One unexpected bright spot has been Russell Westbrook, who's been a spark plug with his hustle, grabbing offensive boards and giving them second chances. With Game 4 being so critical, don't count Denver out just yet. They've still got some fight left. As our first pick for this matchup, the Denver Nuggets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Between Game 2 and Game 3, the total number for the game dropped by 10 points, and still, both teams couldn't get past it. The Clippers have taken over the tempo in this series and have found ways to shut down Denver's normally potent offense. These two squads went over the total in 3 of their 4 regular season games, but in the playoffs, it's been the opposite. All 3 have ended under. Scoring's been a real grind for the Nuggets so far. Their point totals at the end of regulation across the first 3 games were 98, 102, and 83. Not great. I hate to keep hammering this same point, but you really have to wonder who's going to give Jokic any real help on offense. He might be able to post another triple-double, but someone else has to carry some of the load, and on the road, role players usually shrink. That's just how it goes. The Clippers bring one of the stingiest defenses in the league, 3rd overall in efficiency, giving up just 108 points per 100 possessions. At home, they're even better, ranking 2nd and allowing only 105 points per game. They also play at a slow pace, averaging under 100 possessions per game. All signs point to another grinded-out, low-scoring affair. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston Rockets versus Golden State Warriors. Game 3 between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors is set to tip off on Saturday night. With the series all tied up at 1 win apiece, things are starting to heat up. Houston responded to their Game 1 loss in a big way, pulling off a solid 109-94 victory in Game 2 as 3.5-point favorites. They came out firing, building a 10-point lead right out of the gate in the first quarter, and they never let Golden State catch up. From there, it was their game the whole way. Houston will still be without Ezion Tate and Jock Landale, so they're going in a bit short-handed. Meanwhile, Golden State is watching the injury statuses of Jimmy Butler III and Gary Payton II pretty closely. Both guys are listed as questionable, which could shake things up quite a bit depending on who's available. This version of the Warriors is a far cry from the dominant teams that once ran through the league. Stephen Curry is still brilliant, but at 37, he can't be expected to carry the load every night on his own. What's really looming over this matchup is the injury to Jimmy Butler. With the series only at Game 3 and another contest still to be played in Golden State, there's a decent chance the team plays it safe and gives Butler a night off to try and bring him back fully healthy later in the series. That puts Steve Kerr in a tough spot. He'll probably have to turn back to Jonathan Kuminga, even though Kuminga was benched for a reason. In Game 2, he tried to shoot himself back into the mix but only came away with 11 points on 12 shots. The mix of Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and Trace Jackson Davis just doesn't bring enough offense to support Curry. who's going to be stranded if the supporting cast doesn't step up. The Rockets, now past the early playoff nerves from Game 1, are likely to throw everything they've got at Steph on defense. There's plenty of uncertainty heading into Game 3, and most of it revolves around health. Butler and Payton are the two big names to watch on the injury report, and it's worth keeping an eye on that before placing any bets. Another factor that could tilt the game is which version of Jalen Green shows up. When Green plays with purpose and goes on the attack, Houston becomes a totally different team. Golden State's depth is already questionable, and without Butler, there's a massive hole in both their defense and leadership. Houston, on the other hand, is gritty and full of confidence, and their win in Game 2 should only add fuel to that fire. One of the things I really like about this Rockets squad is how they're built to battle. They lead the league in rebounding percentage at 53.5%, and they're first in offensive rebound rate too, pulling in 31.8% of their own misses. That's a huge advantage. If they can keep owning the boards and give themselves second chance opportunities, they'll be in a good position to keep this game close throughout. This spot feels like a classic fade the public situation. A lot of attention is going to be on Steph Curry coming back home for Game 3, and the public money is likely to follow him. But if Jimmy Butler sits out, Houston has a real shot to win this game outright. Even if Butler plays, I'd still be fine backing the Rockets with the points they've shown they can hang. As our first pick for this matchup, the Houston Rockets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. With Golden State playing back in front of their home fans, we should expect to see their offense wake up a bit. They're second in the league in three-point attempts per game at 42.3, and if there's one way to get around Houston's tough interior defense, it's by getting hot from beyond the arc. In the playoffs, there's a trend that role players usually play better at home, so if that holds true, the Warriors should finally be able to crack the 100-point barrier in this series. On the other hand, if Butler can't suit up or is limited on defense, Houston will find more room to operate offensively. That could turn this into a higher scoring game than we've seen so far. I'm leaning toward this one ending up over the total. It might not be a shootout, but there should be just enough points to get it there. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.